Well, this is SJ Talks and Light coming back at you with another video. I have it on the Shay Show, the Shay, the Shay Shay, the Shay Shay Show, not the Shay Show, the Shay Shay Show. With Steve Harvey. Um, Steve Harvey's on here, and he has been saying that men need to be providers, that men are supposed to be taking care of women and children. And I see men are getting kind of salty about that. Um, men are men. You know what? If you're a man and you disagree, I have to agree with what Steve said. If you're a man and you disagree, you're a deadbeat, and you have no idea how to be a man. You don't have the concept of manhood, and you need to read your Bible. You need to talk to some real men that know the true meaning of manhood, and read some books or do what you got to do to learn the concept of manhood, because a lot of men are kind of getting salty about him saying that, and what he's saying is true. What he's telling the truth. Now, Steve, a lot of people right now, um, these kids are coming forth for saying some stuff about him and all this kind of stuff, and I'm not saying that he's perfect and that I ain't saying all that, but what he's saying about men is absolutely correct. That men are supposed to be providers. All this talk about men, what I don't understand is men talk so much garbage about women being independent. Half the time, 9 times out of 10, women are independent because we have to be. When I was raising my two sons, I had to be independent. I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice in the matter. Okay, well, 9 times out of 10, women are independent because they have to be. Women are independent because they have to be, but men are always hollering about women being independent and thinking that we're going around with our chest sticking out, wearing it around like a badge of honor, which we don't. But that's what they say. But then they turn around and complain about. Then they turn around when Steve Harvey or any other man says that men are supposed to be providers and men are supposed to be paying for things and all this stuff. Then they cop an attitude, and they want to debate and cop an attitude. Well, which is it? Are you pissed off about women being too independent, or? And then they turn around and say that women need to be more feminine. Well, women cannot rest in their femininity. I could not rest in my femininity being the head of the household, holding down the fort. Women cannot rest in their femininity if they're taking on the headship arrangement. If they're taking on the headship responsibilities, if women are taking on headship responsibilities, being the head of household and being the sole provider of the family, and taking on the role of the man and the woman, then women cannot rest in their femininity. Okay, I could never rest in my femininity, holding down the fort, paying all the bills. I did everything. I did everything. When you're a single mother, you do it all. I did everything. I was, I paid the bills, I paid the rent, I bought the food, I did everything. I mean, literally did everything. If there was repairs that need to be done, once I moved into my house, if there was repairs that need to be done, I had to make phone calls to get someone to come in and do whatever needed to be done to the house, you know, um, and all that. Paid utilities, um, all that. You name it, I had to do it. I did it all. So I realistically could not rest in my femininity, um, taking on the headship, making all the decisions. I got tired of making. I remember being frustrated because I got tired of having to make all these decisions and stuff. And then sometimes I mentally sometimes had a hard time, you know. I had to do a lot of praying. I had to do a lot of praying because a lot of times mentally I would have a very difficult time with making decisions. You know, there would be times where I would have a hard time making decisions because, and I had to do a lot of praying. I really had to take a lot of things to God. Um, you had to rely on God a lot when you're a single mother. And this a lot of times would have difficulties making decisions, you know. And so I didn't want I didn't want to be independent. I would have loved there was a time when I would have loved to find a marriage mate and, a father figure to my children and all that. And a lot of women most women do not want to be independent. I promise you that. Most women are especially black women, most women are independent because they have to be, not because they want to be. And men trash us for being independent. But then when Steve Harvey makes a comment like this, or any other man makes a comment, a real man makes a comment and say men are supposed to be providers, men are supposed to be taking care of their families and women and children, then men have a big issue with that. Men keep talking about um, being a step. Oh, I'm not going to be no stepfather. I'm not going to take on another man's responsibilities and this and that and the other. But other cultures don't have a problem with that. Or when a woman needs to provide 50 woman a woman needs to bring 50% to the table. Black men are the only men to say that. The other races of men don't be talking that mess. Black men are the only men. I'm not saying all black men, but a lot of them have the black manosphere has this mindset that women are supposed to bring 50% to the table. But then they won't. Well, if a woman's bringing 50% to the table, then that means that she's probably having to work a full time job. She's gonna have to work a full time job, and then you're gonna expect her to work a full time job. If there's any children, come home and help take care of the children. Most of the responsibilities of the children always get put on the woman, and you're gonna expect her to cook and clean, and then do her and then be there for you emotionally and sexually. Well, that's a lot on a woman. That's a lot on a woman. Men expect all that out of women, and then on top of that, you want her to bring 50% to the table. That's a problem. That's problematic, and men know it. And then they complain when women, but they want women to be all feminine and all that. We're human beings. We're human beings. We get tired. Women can only do so much. We need help. Women need help. And so Steve Harvey is absolutely correct in saying that men need to be providers. Okay, I'm back. I don't know where I was. I had to leave for a minute. Where was I? Women can, like I said, women can only do so much. And men are supposed to be protectors. The number one role of men are to be protectors and providers. And if you're a man and you don't understand it, you better ask somebody. Read your Bible. Um, um, if you don't agree with it, you're a deadbeat. Men have no business having children if they are not willing to help provide for them. You have no business having relations with a woman because sex leads to procreation. You have no business having relations with a woman if you don't want to marry her and provide for the children. Bottom line. Bottom line. All this putting everything on the woman and blaming the women for everything. It takes two people to make children. And all the responsibilities of rearing children and taking care of children shouldn't be put on the women. And real men take care of their families. That's what a real man does. And if you believe in a woman taking care of you, taking care of kids or whatever, and what I don't understand is these men sit up here and want to trash single mothers. But who's helping them make the kids? Women can't make kids by their babies by themselves. No, if you make a baby, then you need to be helping with taking care of that baby. Bottom line, that's what men are supposed to be doing. And if you don't agree with that, men are supposed to be protectors and providers. And this is the reason why we're having a lot of problems in our community, because men don't know their role. And then they putting everything on a woman. Everything is not supposed to be. We wasn't built for that. When women ain't supposed to be doing everything. We wasn't. God didn't create us to be the head, and we're not supposed to be doing all that. So that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So yeah, but see, men are putting in their little 2 cents in. They, if you don't agree with it, then you're a deadbeat. Bottom line, what he's saying is absolutely right. But men, I don't understand these generations of men. I really don't. You know, that's why men need to play a more active role in their son's life. Teach these boys how to be a man. Teach these boys how to be a man. Because there are a lot of real men out there that understand the concept of manhood. You need to be mentoring and teaching these young boys coming up, you know, how to be real men. And it ain't sponging and living off a woman and expecting a woman to do everything, but then want to cry about her being independent. Okay, hit me up in that comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on Steve Harvey. Yeah, men, a lot of them are mad that they salty. But just remember, if you're salty about it, you ain't no real man. You don't understand the true concept of manhood. Hit me up in that comment section. Let me know what you think. Hit that like, subscribe, and share. Be blessed.